got with both of them. Hi, guys.
Well, Ramon, kick us off for the final session of this year's Winning AO.
Well, I'll tell you guys, it has been an absolute pleasure teaming up with you, Andrew.
Yeah.
You have been such an amazing host.
Elite level 4 master coach.
And it's been an absolute pleasure.
I love it. Love sharing tennis and the passion, and it's a great opportunity with you guys.
So, woke up this morning, it was in the fourth set, and I haven't gotten to watch a single point because Mark and I were out here coaching in sunny Florida, which was a phenomenal camp. But I would love to hear what you saw, because obviously as a level 4 coach, you see things that other people won't see. But talk us through what happened in that match and what you saw.
Even yesterday, there's a lot of respect for Darren Cahill, but it really comes down to the player on the field. And Sinner stayed calm and did an amazing thing. He stayed calm the whole way through and under pressure, heaps of pressure the whole time, but just kept a nice calmness. And then Medvedev gave him nothing to work with and just outplayed him on every front. So that could really play with you. But then he won the third set, and the way tennis is made, it's in small components, and he went all the way. So congratulations. It was an amazing match.
The third set wasn't a tie break by any chance, was it?
No. Now, this is a good point, Mark. No tie breaks. So tie breaks come down to 1 point, and you're seesawing all the way through. This was calculated. You had to get a couple to get a lead in a game and then take it. And tiebreakers are a very key thing when you can't split someone. These were 5 sets, all with a service break. A bit different.
It takes something to come back from 2-love down against Medvedev, against any of them. Djokovic, Medvedev, whatever.
Yeah,
so it really took something.
His serve percentage went up, and the third shot, he had a little bit more control of the court. One of the things that he was trying to do is get to the net so he could do a big serve. Medvedev would sort of lob the ball back and he'd move in and take a drive volley and open up the angles on the court. That was a key thing, the serve percentage.
Now, I did watch the 90-second clip on ESPN of how it ended and Sinner's speech at the end. But what I saw on match point was he nailed that ball up the line, inside in, down the line, within a few inches of the line, on match point, nonetheless. I mean, so that takes an incredible amount of courage and training.
That was an amazing shot. I must have seen other shots that didn't make it on other critical points, but that's how the game's played. He went for something, it went in. There was this seesawing all the way through. It was an amazing, so hard to pick it, and end result was great for a young guy.
Did anybody calculate the total amount of points on each side, see what the points score was?
There was always a tally after a set. Not as much statistics on this one. Someone else asked me this question, and the guys were talking a lot in commentary and what's going on in the mind. With the women's matches, there was a higher amount of statistics, and they have that right in front of them, so they talk off that one. In the doubles, like there's high statistics about where you're placing the serve. But it was, the stats were there, but it was a very emotional roller coaster, up and down for both.
Okay. And you skipped over the men's doubles, the Indian guy.
Yeah. Indian
how old?
guy,
40, 41, 42, 43? 43.
Yeah,
winning
I know,
Grand Slam doubles.
Oldest number one in the ATP history, together with Matt Ebden, an Australian. So that was great to see as well. All around good volleying and tactics and teamwork.
Quick change of subject. Andrew, the Sinner said that he wishes that everybody had his parents.
Oh, yes.
From what I
All
heard,
right.
because basically the parents let him do his thing. They didn't put any pressure on him. And it seemed like it was a really great environment to grow up. I mean, the guy was an Olympic skier and just
Yes.
won a Grand Slam. So talk to us a little bit about
I didn't know that.
growing up as a kid in that kind of environment.
I'm just going to say he's a top sports star with many options. And his parents didn't try and dictate or make him feel bad about any pathway. And this is a big thing about multi-sport for all your viewers, all your amateurs. Try many things, and you never know. There might be a couple of things there that are suited. And if you're happy, I think that's good. With the parents had a very championship mindset to help him all the way through. And the team again, you got the family team, and then you got your coaching team. Everyone working towards trying to get him across the line. So, and it comes down to him. Yeah. So well played.
Well, we are our next Grand Slam is going to be the French, and
Yes.
of course we don't know what's happening with Nadal. Nadal might end up. Who knows if he'll play again? We don't really know. But between now and then, as we get into the clay court season, what do you expect from Sinner, and who are some other players that you look, could be the next Sinner, might get the next their first Grand Slam?
I'd have to say Alcaraz on clay could be quite deadly, and big serving is good, but they'll sort of chip this back. I am seeing, if you imagine like a volley backswing for return of serves, they're moving in and blocking it and just restarting the point off a serve, off the big serves. Those guys were doing 210-kilometer serves, both of them against each other. Yeah, so that was amazing.
And the others were the return server was taking it early.
Medvedev in the match before against Zverev was a whole half tennis court back behind the baseline. This one, he was a bit closer. And Sinner was quite close. And then when he changed in the third set, he did move back for his returns. And what that does, it adds a little. It can throw, your timing out. People can move forwards and back and just throw the timing of the other player. That's a good tactic.
We talked a lot about occupying space in your opponent's mind, and amateur tennis players specifically. I think we kind of get locked into, this is the kind of forehand I hit, this is where I stand on the return. Talk to us a little bit about maybe getting inside of the other player's head a little bit, and what are some things that we amateurs can do that can swing that in our favor? You talked about two of them there.
All right. Now, for a player to get into another player's head, it could be a good shot. It could be it hits the net and doesn't go your way. So you're in your own head in a way. So there's a few things there that can, and then you've got the crowd. Like there was a Mexican wave going on when Kublev was playing, and he was not happy. He was there going, "What is this? I'm playing tennis," and the crowd's doing a Mexican wave. The really solid tennis players can't see any of that. They just are so focused on what they have to do. And if it's not working, they adapt. And this is what you saw Sinner do. Darren Cahill was there, saying, yes, do more of that. And just sort of geeing him on, not telling him what to do, just giving him positive reinforcement.
Now, sorry to interrupt you, Andrew. This is a fascinating question now, because now the rules have changed and coaches are allowed to communicate with the players when they're on the same side. Did you hear anything from Darren Cahill to Jannik or the other, or Medvedev? Did you hear any specific coaching cues or advice that you heard that caught your ear?
I didn't hear a verbal because the mics won't pick up, but non-verbals, there was a really good, he started to get his first serve in. Medvedev started floating returns and he took the net. He took the net from Medvedev, which increases the angles that he had to run, and he won a lot of points that way. And he would hit deep into the corner and take the net again. And every time he took the net, you saw Darren Cahill going, Keep taking that net. Now, it's not a complex thing. It's a positive reinforcement of something you've talked about. And they might have sat down and said, you have to take the net. They've probably watched other videos because he can't reach these angles. And it's as simple as that. And these strategies are very simple, but they're calculated in how they're portrayed on the court. So it's it's a hard one.
It reminds me a little bit of when Dustin Brown played Nadal at Wimbledon, and nobody in the world thought he had a chance, but he was teaming up with
Craig
O'Shaughnessy, and they had a plan, and Dustin Brown was going to give him absolutely no rhythm, unpredictable, and then I think it was a 4-set match. Dustin Brown walked away with the win.
Yeah.
If you remember, I remember that match. And if you remember, there was a lot of drop shots.
Yeah.
Really mucked up. Nadal was happy to stay at the back and keep the rally. Next thing, he's chasing down drop shots all the time.
And ridiculous. Cool. So a plan, just to have a plan is a great plan. I mean, a proper plan.
Yeah. That's your pre-plan, and if your pre-plan doesn't work, you have plan B, C, D, whatever it takes. You'll see something, and sometimes you might not see it, but you look at your box and you see them saying, do more of that, and that's part of the plan.
It's a little bit more sophisticated than my strength, your weakness, and play it on his backhand.
That's your pre-plan. You might say, all right, well, these are the things that we look for. In these matches, you've got your coaching team, but then you've got an analysis team who is sitting watching the guy you're going to play next. This is a little bit more current of what's happening.
So let's say you're now coaching Medvedev, and Medvedev walks off the court. Obviously, I mean, left it all out there.
Again,
he was so close. What do you say to Medvedev? Obviously, you probably give him some time to decompress, and there's probably some questions to ask. Walk us through that conversation. How would you begin that conversation, and what would you tell Daniil?
You need to release tension, and it doesn't matter what you say. It might not be the right thing. So to give a bit of space and say, I'm over here when you're ready is better than you invading that space. Some people might need a punching bag, and they just want to release that energy. And some other people might just like to sit and watch the water or put a towel over their head. They put a towel over their head and they cut off all senses. And they just want to be on their own, and that's their way. So you'll get to know your player and you'll work out what they feel good at. Sabalenka was smiling. She was having a great time. So it was, you could just see she just loved it. And both girls, so Coco would have been in that role as well. You had to work out, she's worked super hard, like an Olympics, worked really hard and just come up short. So that's hard.
Yeah, but you can also take gratitude out of that as well.
Yeah, well, there's gratitude in everything.
The final of a Grand Slam, close 5 sets, not necessarily expected. So you can take the gratitude, take some rest, double down the hard work, go again.
And you look at the Djokovic sort of story. He came in when Nadal and Federer dominated. He was good, but he just couldn't break in. And then he just persisted, and then he just dominated. And now it's that's when you look at the Australian Open, it had just 3 names for the last 20 years. Like no one else has been able to get in. Yeah.
And probably Djokovic wouldn't have been Djokovic without those two. Rafa wouldn't have been him without Roger, and Roger wouldn't have been Roger without Rafa. Yeah,
look, I call this rivalry. Respect, but and there's your challenge again. We talked about that. The challenge, but respectfully keeping it positive.
Yeah.
Well, guys, Andrew, again, thank you so much. This has been such a blast. This is the Australian Open, winning Australian Open. we're going to be doing this again for sure.
Yeah,
and it won't have to wait until next year. Love having these chats with you. Anything to say before we sign off?
Look, thank you, Mark and Ramon, for the opportunity. Sydney was great. We're nice and local. The Australian Open winning AO was a great chance, and I'm sure we'll do it again. So, see you later from Sydney.
See you later from America, Florida.
All right.
Cheers, man.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Oh, you got to turn us off.
Yeah, you were putting.
I took it away.
Oh.